Hey, chess guys, how are you? Ivan Zemlyansky, a 14-year-old player, a FIDE master from Russia who beats Grandmasters, the destroyer of Grandmasters. Rafa, don't exaggerate, okay? But we'll see what this 14-year-old is capable of against an elite super GM, huh? Now, here's the thing, Ivan, and another Ivan that we're going to see here is Ivan Chuk. Yes, this one we know, the Ukrainian genius, champion without a crown, a very creative player, you know. Here we have, guys, check it out, the ranking of the Charger Masters. We've already shown you Bardia Daneshvar games here, who plays too much. However, we will now look at Ivan Zemlyansky's game here. This player, who is only 14 years old, is a FIDE master. Look at his photo, hasn't updated yet. Don't exaggerate the photo there either. The boy in the photo has just been born. Wait a little bit too, right? Now here's the thing. He's from 2010, right? So 14 years old. And we see his rating here. It's skyrocketing, my friends. Skyrocketing his rating. A spectacular player here. Let's take a look then at the games I brought, starting with Ivan. Ivan Chuk playing as black here against Nicolosi Kachavara. No, Kacharava. Ivan Chuk playing here against Kacharava. E4 was played. We have Sicilian by Ivan Chuk. Knight F3, D6. We've got D4 here. Pawn takes. Rafa, wait there too. Kachavara playing. Oh, wait a minute, 5th grade. Let's continue the game here. Knight takes, Knight F6, Knight C3, and here Knight C. And Ivan Chuk goes for this classic variation here with the development of the knight. You could play a dragon, you could play a knight orphan. He prefers to follow the good old line of the Sicilian here. Bishop G5 was Nicolosi's choice here. We now have E. Queen comes to D. Bishop develops here on D. Great castling was played, and A6 preparing attacks on the queen side. We have F4 immediately attacking on the king side. H6 attacked, bishop returns, and here G5. It's in fashion, right? Here these attacks with H6 and G5, and after the pawn takes, you remove, generally, the knight. Also, some lines with Knight E5 are played a lot, right? But here, Knight G4 is the finest played here by Ivan Chuk. We now have Knight for C6, Bishop for C6, and the Queen comes to F3 to attack the Knight. Knight jumps to E5 square, attacks the Queen. The Queen jumps to F6, attacks the Rook, and Ivan Chuk continues with Knight G. A great move here, protecting the Rook. Bishop E7 is coming. A bishop will be attacked. That's why Bishop G3 was played, putting the bishop to safety. And here Ivan Chuk recovers his pawn. Fancy, huh? Too fancy. This sequence here by Ivan Chuk. The guy sees very far, it's impressive. He gave up a pawn, several moves, and then recovered. And here Queen D4, centralizing the queen. Ivan Chuk continues to bring pieces to the attack. Bishop on E2, simply Rook H7 was played. It gets out of the queen's sights, gives the horse freedom to play. And here, King B1, that prophylactic move, gives freedom to the horse and already brings another protection to A. And here, great castling was played by Ivan Chuk. Who would have thought? We didn't expect a great castling here. We were talking about maybe playing with the king in the center. Great castling was played, H-Rook on the F-file. And here, Knight on F. What a crazy move, Ivan Chuk. Did you just hang a spinning top there? Take it easy, because after the bishop takes the spinning top, it takes. You don't want to capture this spinning top and get forked, do you? So, in this position, Nicolosi simply follows with queen on F6, putting pressure now on the pawns. And now Ivan Chuk continues with Rook D. And yes, the F4 pawn falls, but at a high price. The diagonal of dark squares here is now being attacked by Ivan Chuk. Rook D3 provides protection, but now Bishop Y5 exclaims, Queen attacked, pawn attacked. Beautiful sequence of the Ukrainian genius. Queen G4 was played, Rook G7 attacks the queen. And it prevents the queen's entry into the G8 house. The attacked queen retreats, and now King B. Yes, my friends, Ivan Chuk is playing with one less pawn, it's true. But computers indicate that there's equality here, right? Let's check out the position. A 3 was played, Rook here on C. Rook E3 is backing up the central pawn again. Queen C5 stack on the C column. And it is also putting pressure on the Rook here on E. For now, it's defended by the Queen. Rook C1 was played, already anticipating future attacks on C. However, now Ivan Chuk regains material. What a beautiful sequence here, wow. Rook to G2 played by Ivan Chuk. with the theme of deviation, right? He's going to regain material and therefore got his pawn back. And queen g1 was played by Kacharava. I pronounced it correctly now. And now, therefore, he's proposing the exchange of queens, which is what we have. And here, bishop to h2 attacking the rook. Rook attacked. All right, check. King retreats to home, a7, bishop d. Bishop centralizes on e5, knight d. And let's look at this end where Ivanchuk has one extra pawn here. Rook e7, the knight maneuvers to e. Rook e8 proposes exchanges. Rook g4 avoids. And here b5 just now. Ivanchuk goes on the attack with the pawns. c3 was played. The rook dominates the h-file. The rook goes back to defend the back rank. And here's rook h. Oops. Here rook 1 does the protection. Bishop f4 insists on the attack. Knight comes to c. What now? Here's a good sequence from Kacharava. Why? After rook takes bishop, gosh, Ivanchuk has an extra piece. Very calm at this time because now knight b4 gives a double. And here, what to do in this position? Ivanchuk goes for the best move here. Bishop takes on e4, my friends. It captures the pawn and protects the rook. You'll want to play bishop versus rook, which is much better, with an extra pawn. 2 extra pawns. That's why rook takes on e4 was played. The rook comes to f. a4, trying to blow up the pawns. Let's see Ivanchuk's technique. d5 attacks the rook. Rook d. Bishop d6 puts pressure on the knight. The knight goes back to c. Pawn takes. Rook takes. And here rook f4 proposes trades. Ivanchuk wants to play this endgame with 2 extra pawns. b4 avoids the trades. Put a shield on the front. Bishop on e. We have a rook on a. Protect the pawn. The king comes into play on b6. Knight on e. Rook on e4 attacks the knight. Knight goes back to d. Full knight on the pawn. Rook on e2 played now by Ivanchuk. And the knight comes to b. And bishop on d. Ivanchuk is preparing the right moment to fire these pawns. Rook on a5 was played. And now it does. f5 fires. Knight on a4 with a check. King on b7 to safety. b5 goes for the counterplay. Pawn takes. Rook takes. The king escapes. And here we continue with the rook here on b2 proposing trades. We have the exchanges. And Ivanchuk continues with this battalion. You can't stop that, right? The king pulls over. The knight arrives. However, here the hunts are dominated. King on d2 was played, but simply after this king on d6, my friends, Kacharava, he leaves the game here. He gave up because it's no longer possible. Vasily Ivanchuk, genius hustler. He didn't have a good tournament, by the way, but he played spectacular games like that, right? Here we have the chess.com report. Let's bring in the chess.com report here. Ivanchuk had 93.2% accuracy in that game against 87.5% of the opponent, who played very well, but Ivanchuk played at his peak there, 2,700, when he was even more so when he was the number 2 in the world, right? Ivanchuk, the Ukrainian genius. And now speaking of Ivan, let's take a look at Ivan Zemlyansky, a Russian player. This photo is outdated. He's just 14 years old. It's quite a young age. He's extremely young, a prodigy, facing off against Vladimir Fedosiev. Fedosiev needed to partner with the Insider Store t-shirts, didn't he? The anti-odor t-shirts. But anyway, let's get back to the game. With a rating of 2,701, he's a super grandmaster. Who opens the game with a queen's pawn? Pay close attention to this match. The knights are developed. The bishops are placed in their respective fianchettos. We have a fully symmetrical opening. Rafa, I know about that boy there. He's clever, isn't he? He replicates the twins' move. Easy, guys. It's not like that at all. A 4 has been played, and now a5. That's not it. c5, a departure from the theory. He was copying the moves. Ivan makes a gambit here and yields a pawn. Here, Fedosiev accepts, and now the knight's move to a6 attacks the pawn, avoids move b4, right? That's why the game continues with the knight on c3, and now simply the knight to c5 recovers the pawn. Bishop on e3, knight under attack. b6 provides protection. The bishop can make its move. Here a move to a5 was made. We've got the bishop's move, b7, a key move that defends the rook in various ways. So then we proceed with the rook on a3, and now the queen on c. Pressure on the c-file, pressure on the light squares, support for the bishop. It's always useful to have that extra support. The queen on a1 was played. The knight centralizes on e4, clearing the bishop's path, deals a blow. We're seeing exchanges, and the move c3 establishes a strong position in the dark squares. The queen steps forward, granting more mobility to the rook. A 6 was played. The bishop comes over here. Knight d4. We've got the bishop secure here on d. Queen on a2. Pressure on the central pawn. And what should we play here? Bishop takes knight was Ivan's choice, a move that we generally prefer not to do. Let's look at the young man's ingenuity here, right? This move makes no sense. You're going to lose the defender of your king's dark squares. You're going to lose that monster bishop. If the concern here is the attack on top of this pawn, I don't know. It can be defended. Why bishop by knight? Let's see his idea. So bishop takes, and here bishop e6. We wouldn't play that, but Stockfish is enjoying it. We continue with c4, and now the rook comes to the d file. Wow. b3 provides protection. The other rook comes to the c file. e3 has been played. Knight returns home from f6. Queen comes to b2. Pressure on the dark squares. D for c4, going for the fight here, huh? B by c4. Queen d7 puts more influence on the light squares. Bishop b7, rook attacked. Rook by c4 was played. And here A's rook on a1 was played. Maybe d3 rook would be a little more active, bring a little more problems, right? But here Fedosiev plays the move A's rook on a. And now bishop h3 arrives attacking the rook anyway. The attacked rook escapes and now is e. Oh! Threatening here the bishop, weighing in on the d file. Will he take e for queen? The game continued with queen b. Fedosiev goes for the only move in the position. Attacking the rook, protecting the rook on d1, and keeping the bishop under attack. Meaning attacking the rook without giving time to capture the bishop. That's why the game continued with the queen on e. Oops! This move here protects the rook. Here bishop b2 was played. Note that bishop for pawn trying to deflect the defense from this rook here wouldn't work. The head of the rook takes. The rook takes, and a nice move that could have been made here is the d4 rook. This one is fancy, huh? Too fancy, attacking the queen and the rook, right? And then black would indeed have a great position. For instance, if the queen goes to b1, you simply switch and capture the bishop in sequence. Strong, huh? Too strong. That's why Fedosiev doesn't capture the pawn and follows with bishop b. And the game then continues with rook takes, queen takes, and h. Ivan Zemlyansky is going after Fedosiev. He already has an extra pawn and is on the attack. We proceed with queen to d. Rook stays here on b4, attacks the bishop. Bishop attacks. Rook b3 pins the bishop. Rook comes to c1, protects the king h7, simply putting the king a little more into the game. Queen d1 has been played. Rook leaves for b. Bishop is there on a. Rook c5 proposes trades. These trades happen. Rook takes, pawn takes, and here the queen comes to c1, attacks the pawn. Queen d6 protects. f3, we have the bishop move on e6, giving more mobility to the bishop. e4, we now have c4, advances the passed pawn. King comes to f2, knight maneuvers. King g2, knight comes to c. Bishop c3 has been played. Knight d3, a knight on the horizontal rank. It is a very strong knight. Queen d2 has been played. h4, pawn takes. Queen comes to c5 with an eye on the f2 square. It also supports and protects a very cohesive position for the black women. h3 was played, and now what to play in this position? Yes, my friends, let's see the brilliance of Ivan Zemlyansky here. Damn, look at the blow he's sending at Fedosiev now. Bishop to h3, my friends. What's happening? The match continued with king to h2 and not king to h3 because there would be a queen on g1 here threatening checkmate. Would it be possible to defend that? Maybe I would have to play a bishop to e5 here, return material so I don't get mated. But here there is also a knight on f2, and the king has nowhere else to go. That's why we would have a winning position here for Ivan. Sensational bishop to h3. So king to h2 was played, and now the bishop safely returns with a full belly. It comes home to e. The queen comes here to e2. The queen goes back to e7. And what maturity from the boy with time falling here already. Queen to e7 has been played. King to g3 protects. Queen to a. Let's see if he's good under the pressure of the clock. Queen to d2. We have a queen on c5 here. King h2, knight f. Improves the horse's position. The queen comes to e1, and here f6 protects the pawns. Bishop d2. We have the move queen on a, putting pressure on the pawn. King g3 protects, and now c3 firing the passed pawn. Darn, playing too fast. Bishop e3, queen b2 rolls out the red carpet. And it also puts pressure here, threatening. Something like checkmate. That's why queen on f2 was played. But now c2 threatens here to win the bishop in the promotion. So in that position, my friends, Vladimir Fedosiev leaves the game here. What's that, my friends? He abandoned because he can't do it anymore. You're going to promote here next. There's no way around it, really. Let's assume you play. Let's do here. Insert a possible continuation. Let's assume you play here queen on f1. It's just coming to the promotion for queen anyway. And if the bishop captures, you have knight h5 checkmate. Look at this. That's crazy. Didn't Rafa Mariau have knight h5 checkmate before? No, not really, because the queen here was blocked by the pawn. Knight h5 here wouldn't be checkmate, but it would also lead to checkmate. The quickest is simply to promote. Crazy, right? Which has a checkmate hidden here with all the pieces cooperating. Knight, pawn, queen, everyone here participating in this checkmate. And we also have the report here from chess.com. Let's take a look at the accuracy of the players here. 91.5 for Ivan, 85 points. We see a game of domination slowly. This shows the very strong talent of the boy, a very high level of play. And here we see the brilliant move. Bishop by h3. You can frame this move. It really was spectacular. Well done, my friends. That was a little bit of Ivan here on the tour. Ivan Chucky, who didn't do so well at the final table here. We have the final classification of Ivan Chucky. Ivan was 11th with 6 points. The little boy, which was spectacular considering the number of players, and Ivan Chucky stayed here in position 58 with 4 points. What a strong tournament, right? A tournament where this Penko is here at 55, Ivan Chucky 58, right? You can be sure that this is a very tough tournament. Okay, my friends, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the matches and the video here. Thank you so much for listening. A big hug to all of you. And until next time, thanks.